Are you going to be my little guest? Okay. Okay. Hello, my book friends. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Carly. This is Let's Read Into It. We are wrapping up February. It is March 5th, I think. So I'm a couple days late, but my birthday was the 3rd. So forgive me. Do you remember in my January wrap up, I talked about reading the most books I think I ever have in a month, which was 16 in January. I did 20 in February. I don't know what's happening. I don't know, but I am on a roll. That includes I read some audiobooks, physical books, Kindle books, Apple books. Just I read a bunch. I have here's my little stack. That's my physical ones, but we're going to be talking about all of them. I was going to include my March hopefuls for this month in this video, but 20 is a lot to go through. I'm not going to go super in depth. I don't want to give any spoilers, so I'll be very just brief. There are some books in here that I absolutely loved. There are books in here that I cried to and didn't like. So let's go ahead. Let's get talking about it, because honestly, let's wrap this up. Okay, so I'm going to start with my two little novellas I finished at the very end of last month by Rachel Gibson, Crazy on You and I Do. Both I probably should have read. If you're new to the channel, I have talked about, I used to have a huge Rachel Gibson, Susan Elizabeth Phillips collection from my mother and my grandmother. I had to get rid of them when I moved up here, and I'm slowly getting them back. And I got these two actually for Christmas from a friend, and I hadn't read these, and they actually came with Rescue Me, which is the full-length novel, and I probably should have reread that, because all of these are from the Love It, Texas series. All of those characters that are in here are introduced in there, and it's been a while since I read that, so I probably should have read that first. But it's not too spoilery, because it's not necessarily about those main characters. It's about the side characters, which I'm fine with, and I actually really liked. Super short. It's about a young wedding hairstylist who falls in love with this it's funny because this was written, I think, late 1990s, early 2000s or something, and some of the references just crack me up, because he had a spiked belt and his hair was just a little long. It cracked me up. So she fell in love with the bad boy reputation type, and it was very, very cute. It also included kind of a catch up with some other characters that have full-length books that I will talk about in the future, because I'm going to be rereading all of the Rachel Gibson and Susan Elizabeth Phillips books I'm getting back. So we're going to go more into that. But this is a very cute little read. Yeah, there we go. And then Crazy on You was another cute little catch up, but also a tying loose ends with some of these characters. It was very, very cute. I recommend, obviously I recommend reading these after you read all of the other ones. That way you're oh, well, I didn't want to know who gets with this person or this person. So read these after, but they were very cute. Check them out if you've read all of those. Read Sinner. If you watched my February Hopefuls, Sinner was one of the books on that list. And when I tell you how much I disliked, that's better. The reasoning for it is I don't like to cry in books. This book made me cry for 3 hours. I don't like that. I do not like to cry with books. I joke, I cry a lot in life. I don't want to cry in a book. I don't. I'm here, if you guys love a good, cry with your book, totally here for it. I'm not going to say why I cried, just that I cried a lot. I also felt as though the characters didn't have a ton of chemistry that I felt in the first one. And I also felt the character development wasn't as on par as the first one. So it was really just kind of a letdown. So I'm not sure if I'm going to finish the series or not, even though I am really excited about the next couple in the book, like the next book. So I'm not sure if I'm going to finish it or not. I may just pause it. And if you hear, I have dogs just like playing next to me. So if the mic catches that, sorry. But I may pause this series because this really just did some damage to me because I really don't want to cry in the next book. So I gave this like 2.5 stars, which is not great. But that's just me, purely because I cried. Low score for a cry. Like, it's just, I don't know. That's what it is. Throttled. Now, I did a reading vlog when I was reading this, and if you watched it, I dislike this book a lot as well. Purely for the dialogue. Like, the dialogue was not great. It was very just, like, stunted. It was just like, hello, how are you? Isn't this great? Like, it was just bad. And it had dialogue that was not needed. Like, a lot of this could be, like, cut out. A lot of this could be cut out. Which is really annoying to me when I'm in a book. And I'm like, you could have finished this 100 pages ago. End it. Like, honestly, it's so frustrating. The characters were okay. I said it in the vlog, I have the other books in this series, the Dirty Air series. I gave this a 3 stars. And I'm going to get to the series, but probably not for a while. Like, put it on the back burner. It was just really, just ugh. And some of the references were just ugh. Like, I don't know. It wasn't the best in my opinion, which was kind of a letdown because I, like, fine print I love. Terms and Conditions, whole other story. I didn't like it. But it was just frustrating. It was frustrating, and I don't know if it's just that's this author's writing style or what, but I'm not feeling it. So, Touch of Darkness. I love a good Hades Persephone retelling. It's, woo, I don't know what it is. I read a lot of them. They're fantastic, and there's a ton out there. Touch of Darkness is the first in the series, Scarlet St. Clair. I absolutely devoured this. I devoured it. It was really cute. I actually really liked how Persephone just really came into her power, stood up for herself, and Hades was hella cute. It was adorable. It was a 4-star for me. And I like the different version of, like, she's in school. Like, she's in school, and she wants to make a career. It's a different play than other Hades and Persephone retellings that we get. So I really enjoy this. Definitely a must read for me, and I will be finishing this series in the near future. I finished the entire Briar You series this month, or last month, and it was so good. I can't. Was it as good as the Off Campus series? I don't know. I think it's like on par. It's on par for me because the characters are completely different, but some of the same tropes were in there. But it was really, really good. But we'll go book by book. First was The Chase. This is the story about Colin Fitzgerald and Summer De Laurentiis. Summer is a little sister of Dean from The Score, and it was so adorable. Like, she is a female Dean in the sense of, like, attitude and stuff, not like sleeping around, but I like their story a lot. It's like brother's best friend in a way, but not really, because you don't get as much conflict. But you do get a little bit of kind of like, not star-crossed lovers, but like one of his friends really likes her and he keeps like pushing her away and there's miscommunication, but not too much. But she like stands up. She's like, you better figure it out. Like, Summer was I really like Summer as a character. Her development was really great. And she really kind of just found herself and how to cope with a learning disability. It was really good. So the series started out great. And then we have The Risk, which is this is definitely like a star-crossed lovers, because it is about Brenna and Jake Connolly, which I was probably the most excited about reading. I was ready for this one because they're like, we meet them in The Chase, and Brenna is Briar Yu's coach, like hockey coach's daughter, and she starts to catch feelings for Jake Connolly, who is a rival player for Harvard, and it was so good. It was really like a redemption arc for Brenna. She did some like bad things when she was a teen, and she was in a really toxic relationship, and she's trying to like prove to her dad that she is better. Like, she is trying to like flip everything around. She's also like, we also get a bit of like trying to be like being a woman in a like all boys club profession with sports broadcasting. It was really good. And Jake Connolly was freaking adorable. I can't. This one was probably my favorite of the series because it was just, I don't know. Jake and Brenna are just freaking adorable. So that was, like, this entire series was 5 stars. Let me just say that. I don't know if I said it already, but it was 5 stars. Of course, The Play. This book is about Hunter Davenport and Demi Davis. So this was a best friend to lover trope, and I absolutely loved it. Hunter is on this like celibacy kick because he messed up last season and he wants to do better. He's the captain. He wants to just like prove to everybody he has what it takes and has the focus. Demi is in a long-term relationship in this book, and there's a little bit of cheating in this shit. And let me tell you, I was ready to throw hands, but Demi does not play, and I was here for it. This was really, really cute. Demi and Hunter were adorable. You can, like, Demi wears the pants, okay? Let's just, it was really cute. I don't want to give too much away. So this one was, The Play and The Risk were probably my favorite out of the series. So the last we have is The Dare, which is Connor Edwards and Taylor. I don't remember her last name, but it was Taylor. So Taylor is in a sorority where she fucking hates it, but she's in there, and there is this mean bitchy bitch who dares her. They have like a drink game called Dare, dares her to take somebody up to the room and sleep with them. And she chooses Connor, and Connor is the like fuckboy of like the campus. And so she's like him because she thinks that because Demi is a little bit fuller, which we love, a plus size queen, she's gonna get turned down. And so she goes over there and immediately was like, I need your help. I don't want to sleep with you, but I just need you to go up and pretend that you slept with me. And Connor's like, here for it. Let's do it. And they go upstairs and everybody's like, oh my God. And so Connor is wanting to change this whole fuckboy idea of like him. He wants a new reputation. So him and Taylor start dating. It's mutually beneficial, but then they start catching feelings, and it, you know how it goes. Like, it's really good. I absolutely just, they were really cute. It was a cute story. It's probably, I think it's like the shortest out of the 4. Not by much, but still, it was very good. And I love the development. I love the just, I don't know, the support, the self-image. Like, Connor was all about, like, he's like, I love you, whatever size you're at. I don't give a shit. Like, it was so cute. I do want to say, though, you may want to read some trigger warnings in regards to The Play. The Play has some trigger warnings in there, just for some like mental health things that happen in there. She's wanting to be like a psychologist, and she wants to be a therapist, and there are some things that happen in the book that may be triggering for some people, so make sure you read the trigger warnings on that. But otherwise, they're very cute, fun reads, and you can't go wrong with a hockey romance. Like, I was on a hockey romance kick. Like, yes, I'm here for it. Next, The Whispering Dark by Kelly Andrew. This is YA, like, fantasy. I was really excited about this one. Delaney lost her hearing when she was younger, and she is now going to the school with like magical like powers and shit, and like people are dying, and she's so fucking confused. She meets Colton, who's known her, but Delaney doesn't remember. And Colton's supposed to stay away. You get a bit of like dark academia, but you get a little bit of like school like cultish, and it was really good. I tandem read this. I read it physical and I listened to it while I was at work, and I gave it 3.5 stars just for the fact that it was very, I don't know, it wasn't like the best dark academia book I've ever read, but it wasn't like the worst. It was just kind of there. It's one of those books that you read and you're like, okay, I'm done. And it ended great. But it really just, it didn't leave like a lasting impression, if that makes sense. Wasn't bad, wasn't great either. It was just there. Such Sharp Teeth by Rachel Harrison. You guys, I absolutely love this. It was funny. It was a little creepy at times. This is considered, I don't know if this is considered like in the horror genre or just like sci-fi fantasy or just fantasy in general. So we meet Aurora or Rory. She is back to help her sister who is pregnant, and her baby daddy has like fucked off somewhere. She's there to help back where she grew up. She's driving home from a bar after meeting up with an old flame, and she like hits something. She gets out to check it. She gets bit by a werewolf. Like, what? Like, this book was, it's very short. It's a good read. And it was just, the humor in it was so funny. She's like, motherfucker, I'm a werewolf. It was so funny. It was a good, like, palate cleanser, oddly enough, because I read it right after The Whispering Dark, and I read it before I went back into, like, a romance kick. So it was a good palate cleanser. You get some romance, like, subplot in it, but really, you get a really good conversation of women feeling comfortable in their bodies, but also being independent and not being seen as fucking crazy when something wrong happens. It was very, very good. The conversations had in these, the dialogue, it was written very well. I know she has another book called Cackle, I believe, and I want to read it because it's like, I really like this one. So if I like this one, I feel like I'm gonna like Cackle. So I've added it to my list to get because it seems really good. So I read Brutal Obsession, which is a dark hockey college romance. Bully as well. Read trigger warnings. So this is by S. Massery. I read this on Kindle. I actually saw another booktuber talking about this, and she really liked it. Like, hockey romance, it's a bully romance, dark romance, yes. So I immediately went and downloaded it, and I gave it, I believe, like 3.5 stars, just because some of it, I was like, wait a minute. So the two main characters they go to the same school now. His dad is a senator, and so he's like, I'm all powerful, I can do whatever because my dad's a senator. And you're like, okay, cool. But he hits her with his car, like when they end up having gone, like they've grown up in the same town. He's drunk driving, hits her with her car, and destroys her like ballet dancing career. And he blames her for all the crap he got into. He's like, you got me arrested. And she's like, you hit me with your car and then ran away. And so it's a little bit revenge. There is definitely spicy scenes in it. Some of it I'm like, okay. You get a little bit of stalker in there. So it's definitely spicy. It's a spicy book. As well as you are just going to get some scenes where you may, if you have never read spicy romance or like dark romance, I don't know if you would necessarily want to step into it with this. I actually don't even know what book you would step into dark romance with. I'll have to look into that. But this one is like, it's not as like bad as Hunting and Haunting Adeline, but it's definitely a step, like some of the, like there's breath play, there's blood play. So there are some things in there that are if you've never read stuff like that, you're gonna clutch your pearls, okay? So it was good. Wasn't the best dark romance, but it was a good one. It was a good, like, quick read, even though it's like 400 or 500 pages, but it was a good read. So do you remember when I talked about how I'm like full on to a hockey romance kick? Yeah, I'm still on it. I read 2 other hockey romance books, both by Avery Keelan. The Offside Rules of the Game book 1 I read. That's been going around TikTok. Everybody's wanting to read it. Offside was cute. Offside was very cute. I gave it 4 stars. It is a college hockey romance. Chase, who is kind of like on thin ice, got it, with his team and his coach, because he just has been kind of messing up. He decides to help out this girl who was just broken up with in the most brutal way on her birthday by his biggest rival at her school. He decides to help her out by fake dating her. And when I tell you, I'm here for it. Like, that motherfucker, like, the ex, I know. The ex of the girl is a complete douchebag. Like, you get some cheating in there because shit overlapped. They're like, I didn't start dating him. It's fucking insane. But it was very, very good. You get kind of some blackmail in there. You get some almost like dark themes with this college hockey romance. But it was very good. It was book 1. I'm really excited about reading more of these. Because honestly, it was really good. It was a really good book. I also read The Enforcer by Avery Keelan, which is the Lakeside University series. So I believe, because I got a little confused with The Enforcer and then Offside. Apparently, they're interconnected, but they're like, one is second generation, and for the life of me, I cannot remember which one. So you may get some, no, I know what it is. So the Rules of the Game series is like first, and then the Lakeside University series is like second generation, because you get some of their kids like from Rules of the Game. So if you're not wanting any spoilers into that series, I would say don't read The Enforcer yet, even though she's writing them like she's releasing books in both those series at the same time, so it's a little confusing. So if you've not gotten to like a point with the Rules of the Game series, and then you're going to Lakeside, you're going to be very confused. You're like, I haven't fucking read that yet. And you're like, well, shit, here I am. I also read a cute little, like, novella. Not really novella, but it was like a catch-up, like, bonus chapters for Offside. And it talks about them in the future. So there's a little bit of that. But The Enforcer was really good. Not as good as Offside, because The Enforcer, it's second chance romance, and I always have a hard time with second chance romance, because you broke up for a reason. Ash is like the enforcer, and he broke up with his girlfriend, who I cannot remember her name, which that's gonna be a common thing, you guys. I don't remember shit, but he broke up with her basically as he wanted to focus on like hockey and shit. And then fast forward 2 years, she's getting a degree in like physical therapy, like training, and she gets assigned to be like a trainer with his team. And this is the first time they're seeing each other in years, and he's like, be still my heart, why did I break up with you? So it's a second chance romance. It was cute, but I always have a hard time with second chance romance, because I'm like, you broke up for a reason. The book I read was Triple Duty Bodyguard by Lily Gold. If you've not heard anything by about any books from Lily Gold, she writes a lot of reverse harem. So she has Faking with Benefits. She has Nanny for the Neighbors. A lot of her books are reverse harem. So this is a reverse harem. So you have a celebrity who is being stalked. She hires these 3 like former military guys to protect her, because her former like security was banging her assistant while someone broke into her house and like masturbated all over her. I would move. She never moves. That's what I would like. I would move. But she's this big movie star. And of course, with reverse harems, you have the ones who are like immediately in love. You have the ones who are like, I don't care. And then you have the ones who are like, I'm not going to do it. And it's like the last holdout. And finally they like bang and it's all great. It was a cute read. Some of it was a little frustrating because a lot of would have been resolved if she just fucking listened. Like, that's my thing. I'm like, if you have a security and they're like, do not go, don't go. Like, you need to, like, stay at home. And she's like, no. I was just like, girl, you're going to get all these people killed. Like, I can't. So you got some action in that, but still, like, a lot of it could have been avoided. I read books 1 and 2 of the Stars in Shadow series by Holly Renee. This has been going around TikTok as well. Absolutely love them. You get the fantasy romance, and you get Forbidden Love, and you get Warring Kingdoms. It was very, very good. Third book comes out this month, and so that's on my TBR, because I'm like, once that comes out, I'm reading it, because it ended in a cliffhanger. These are not very long books, so these are on Kindle, but the covers are really cute, and so I really want to buy the physical ones, but I have to get them on Amazon, and I just haven't thought about it. But I really, really enjoyed it. You get some spicy scenes. You get, like, some of the quotes in there, I'm like, whew, okay. You get, like, some filthy talk. These were definitely, like, 4.5 stars for me. The only reason it wouldn't have been, it's not 5 stars, is miscommunication. Not even miscommunication, just lying by omission. Just not saying it. And I'm like, oh, like, you could, like, all of this could have been avoided if you just, I don't know, said it. So I listened to How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, which, if you've not read any of Grady Hendrix's books, it's very good. You get some comedy in there. You get, like, horror. I've read some other of his books, which one being the Southern Book Club's Guide to Killing Vampires, and it was so good. Or Slaying Vampires, one of the two. But it was very, very good. Also, My Best Friend's Exorcism is now a show on Prime, so... But his newest book, which is How to Sell a Haunted House, was unbelievably good. I actually connected with it so much because the main character, her parents die in a car accident. But it was very odd circumstances. Like, her mom was the one driving, and she's like, Mom doesn't drive because she's a terrible driver. But her dad, who had like, leg surgery, didn't leave with his cane, and they didn't leave with the wallets. Like, things were left behind. She's like, this is fucking weird. And her brother, who she hasn't talked to in some time, who she thinks has not grown up and is kind of mooching off his parents, all these things, is one to call her, like, they're dead. And she comes there, and he's like, I've already decided all this, da-da-da-da-da, and it was just a completely shit show. And I connected with that so much because me and my brother don't talk, and so I'm like, girl, I feel you. So it was really about, like, family dynamics, generational trauma, but also you got an evil fucking puppet. I don't like dolls, y'all. Like, ew, it was so creepy. It was so, so creepy. But really, the whole, like, topic of generational trauma was discussed so well in this book. I absolutely loved it. I definitely think you should check it out if you like horror books. If you don't like horror books, it's creepy as fuck. I can't tell how many times I was listening to this book and I was like, you get the shivers because you feel like it's there. I was listening to it at home one time. And it was just me at home. My fiance hadn't come home yet. And I was like, nope, I'm not going to listen to this, right? Because I do not want to die by some puppet. Like, my dad he got me a doll when I was little. He still has this doll. It's still in the box. And he's like, no, when I die, you can it'll be yours. Like, you can always take it. And I go, do not send me that fucking doll. Like, I do not want that anywhere near me, my house, my dogs, anywhere. Because that's not going to kill me one night. Like, I'm not going to wake up that bitch standing over me. So, that was a whole other thing. So, I read 2 books on Apple Books. I read The Frat Boy by Nikki Sloan. And so, it's the 4th book in that series. I haven't read any of the other books, but I believe some of the people who are mentioned in this book are in other books. Don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to read the other books or not. But, so the two main characters, guy's in the frat, she's in sorority, and so they're at this competition, and one of his frat brothers cheats. And she's like, he cheated! And she starts a whole ass, like, mud fight. And they both end up getting kicked out. Even though he did cheat, like, not the one that get kicked out. And she has a lot of trauma because no one has listened to her. Like, no one has believed her. So they both respond to an ad to become, like, amateur, like, porn stars, amateur, like, adult film stars. And, like, they're both surprised to see each other, and, like, their, like, competitive nature comes out. They're like, well, I could do it. I can do it better than you. And they end up, like, banging for, like, because they're like, to live in the house, you have to be able to, like, pass it and everything. So they do it, and everybody loves him. And so, but she comes up with this rule, you can't kiss me. It really bothers him because he's like, I hate her, but I really want to kiss her. And their relationship, the development of it was really good. And I like the side characters. The scenes are steamy. Like, honestly, you're reading, like, scenes from adult, like, films. And it's definitely something. If you're wanting a very steamy read, like, yes, there's plot to it. Like, more, like, a good amount of plot. There's reasoning behind it. But, honestly, like, the steamy scenes, I was like, okay, cannot read this in public. But it was really good. I gave it 4 stars. It was great. It was a really, really good read. And then I read Ride Me by Jordan Marie. This is part of her, like, MC series. I've read multiple of the other books in that series, which are very good. It's not dark romance, but it's some of it's a little taboo, but it's very spicy. I know some of her books are on Kindle Unlimited, and then some of them are, like, elsewhere. But this one was very, very short. But this is about Keys, and he's, like, traveling to meet this other MC for his MC, and bike breaks down. He comes across this woman who is trying to bathe this dog. She, like, runs an animal rescue, and she falls in the tub. He laughs and everything, and it's like love at first sight. So it's a very quick romance. It's another one of those where it's not heavy on plot. There's a lot of spice, but it's very, very quick. It's very, like, fast-paced romance. So if you do not like they meet and they're in love, like, 2 days later, this is not the book for you. But it was very, very good. It's very, very good, very quick read. It was good to catch up with others in the series that I've read, because it's been some time since I've read those books. So it was good to, like, catch up. And I'm like, oh, okay. It's like a family reunion. I'm like, oh, we got more kids. Okay. It was a good book to, like, finish off the month with. Those are all the books I read in the month of February. That was a lot. 20 books. I don't know if I will do as many this month. Who knows? I was just on a straight, just, like, kick. Like, I was going. I don't know why. Like, I don't know. But I read some really good ones. I'm excited for the books I'm going to be reading in March. I have a huge book haul that I'm going to be showing you guys, because I got a ton of books for my birthday. So I have that coming up. But I cannot wait to see what you guys read. Let me know down in the comments some books that you really like. If you've read any of these, what you guys thought, and any books you guys are excited about reading next. So until then, I will see you guys next time. Bye.